Alright, hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we finally received the new 1.4.3 beta patch and also the 1.4.2 move to live. So this patch was highly anticipated. We waited a long time for this one, obviously because of the code refactor and stuff of that nature. But at the same time, the devs stated a few days ago that the bigger patch will be the next one after this one, since the code refactor took most of the devs' time. This patch does seem to be about 4.11 gigabytes, so it's a pretty good patch size. Also, if your patch size is bigger, just understand that it depends from where you download it. So if you're, let's say, on patch 1.3 before you download this patch, it'll be larger than if you were on 1.4.2. If that kind of makes sense, because you have more to, install and download, right? So I'm going to link the 1.4.3 and the 1.4.2 patch notes down below if you want to go check out the full patch notes. We're going to go through all of it. I'm going to talk about the big points, the small points. I'm going to put stuff on the screen. I'm going to show you some of the features and all of that. And we're going to get through it together. Also, like always, I have a script. It's going to be on the screen right now. So everything I state, all the links I talk about, they will all be down below for you guys to read along or read after or translate, whatever you want to do, right? So I'm super excited. I opened the game up. It looks crisp. There's a lot of UI improvements. We're going to talk about those, but I'm very excited. Also, I'm going to have a video later on where I talk about pretty much, not talk about, where I show all the other features that came in with this, right? I'm going to show you kind of quickly some of the new features, right? But I'm going to go more in depth and play with the new features, see how they affect gameplay and all of that in another video, either today or tomorrow. It's going to be a longer video, right? So let's start with the latest changes to 1.4.2, which is the new live, right? There's only a couple, but obviously it's because it's the new live. And then we have a lot of 1.4.3 beta changes, like a lot. It's going to be a long video, I promise you. So let's get to it. So first, we have some crash fixes that had to do with pretty much decisions to kick out a clan and kingdom strength calculations, mostly for the AI when they decide to kick out a clan and stuff like that. So it's kind of background stuff for the player. Also, some localization issues were fixed. Next, for multiplayer, we got the leave penalty. Pretty much if you leave, then you have to wait before you can join another game because you obviously left, right? Well, it previously wasn't implemented to parties as well. So a player found out and he made a thread about it, and we covered it in another video, where if they are on cooldown from leaving, they can just join a friend's party and still play. This has now been fixed. So now they still have the cooldown regardless if they join a friend's party. Player names will now be properly seen on the friends list, also for multiplayer, and the friends list will now be loaded upon login. Then we have, they fixed the multiplayer captain mode bug and that prevented additional armor perks to be applied to AI troops. Now they will be applied. And then we have VAC banned players will now see a message when trying to log in. Now, that's pretty much all the little quick changes for 1.4.2 live. Usually when you get big patches like this, it's only a couple for the live version, and then it's like a huge ton for the 1.3. So let's get to the juicy 1.4.3 beta changes. And there's a lot of stuff. Also, I'm going to let you know when it's a huge change. I wrote in my notes pretty much like a huge change alert for all the big changes. So whenever you hear me say that, if you're listening to this in the background, listen up. These are the big changes that I think are going to change the game. That I personally think are going to change the game, right? So first, let's start with single player. So first, we have a lot of crash fixes. They're going to be on the screen right now if you want to pause. But here are some of the big ones that I see. So they fixed a crash when leaving villages. That's pretty common. They fixed a crash when entering certain hideouts. Another crash when the main hero is executed for a big crime rating. Then another crash when you're exiting the game. And finally, a crash that happened when you started the conspiracy quest. And there's a lot of other ones, like I said before, it's on the screen right now. But those are kind of the big ones that I've seen and kind of, that can commonly happen more. Now, let's move on to performance, saves, and localization. Sorry about that. Localization. It's going to be in the screen again, and I'm going to list some of the big ones that I do see. So the memory usage, pretty much in the game and mostly in big settlements like towns, and also general CPU memory usage was reduced by 100 to 150 megabytes in most crowded areas like Belgrade. They're very crowded and have a lot of AI in it. Like AI, what do you call it? NPCs, right? So the UI memory for campaign, inventory, and smithing parts has also been optimized. So I think this is very good to see. Optimization is always good to see. And I've seen on almost every big update that we've seen in this game, they've always optimized a certain part of the game. In 1.4.2, they optimized the saves and gave us more auto saves. I thought that was very good, and I think this is also very, very good. Now, huge change alert. Like I said before, I'm going to say that whenever a big change comes up that I think is going to change the game, or, you know, it's been very anticipated. So we have troop formations will now not reset after saving and loading a game. I think this is a huge one, and a lot of people in the forums and almost everywhere were asking for this. So it's good to see it was finally fixed. Now, characters now spawn in settlements after a save and load while waiting in a settlement, and first clan income is counted after a load. Both were bugs and did not show up, now they do. So if you were waiting in a settlement and then you saved and load and then you went into the settlement after your save or your load, some of your characters wouldn't spawn, like some of your companions wouldn't spawn. And also, on some loads, income you would get from your first clan that you, what do you call it? Like a new clan that just joined your kingdom, right? Sometimes it wouldn't be counted and you wouldn't get the money for that, but now that has been fixed as well. Then we have some Chinese localization is improved, and multiple punctuation, spelling, and other grammar issues are fixed. Now, in terms of art, we have some small edits and also some new visuals. So first, a new ultra soft afro hairstyle. Then we have the I'm very bad at pronunciation, right? Okay, I can't even say it. Cestadium, I think. I'm gonna call it Cess Castle, right? It now has a castle scene. The Sturgians have a new armor set, which is the Northern Laminar Vest and the Northern Short Laminar Vest. Also, 3 new old-looking shields were added to the Sturgians as well. I think as art, like they were just changed visually. Also, various quality and performance improvements were made. Now, in terms of the campaign map, pathfinding was improved. Army member icons now make an animation instead of floating. So pretty much before, when an army was following your character, the army members that were on the map, you could see that their legs weren't actually moving. They were just kind of floating next to your character. Now they will have a running animation with it, or a galloping if they're on a horse, right? Now, world map icon textures, models, and materials were also all improved. Now, let's move on to UI, and there's a lot of UI changes. First, we have a new conversation screen for the campaign map that allows players to open conversations a lot faster and without a loading screen. So let me show you this on the map. So let's get on the map. Let's load in real quick. First of all, you can see it's a lot smoother. But if we start talking to somebody, like let's start talking to this guy, right? Oh, let's catch up. As you can see, it's a whole new screen, and it was a lot faster. A lot faster. I promise you it was a lot faster. And I like how crisp and nice it looks in this form. And if we choose to leave, it's the same thing. It's a lot faster, and a lot of stuff is cut down, and I think that's very, very nice. Next, we have huge alert. Huge change alert. So second, we have pretty much a really big one and a highly requested one. You can now cheer with the key O. If you press O, then a default cheer will happen. But if you hold O, then a spin wheel with 4 cheers pops up. This will be implemented to multiplayer soon, and it will be improved in future patches. So I think this is huge. There was a huge mod about it. And let's go back on the screen right now. Let's pick a fight, and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean with the cheer. So it doesn't matter who we pick a fight with. Let's pick these looters. Anybody who wants to fight us, come on. Get over here. All of you can fight us. That's fine. Again, see how quick it is. See how better it looks. I think this is amazing in my opinion. Okay, so let's attack. And now we can send these guys in. They can deal with them. Now if we hold O, as you can see, there's your first one. Now, if we hold O, you can see, you can do with your mouse wheel. Put on 1. There you go. Let's do 2. That's 2. He raises it a little bit higher. There we go. He raises both arms, says victory. And now 4. And now, yeah. So they're kind of similar, but they're kind of different also. You know what I mean? So you have a little choice of how you want to cheer, and I think that's pretty cool. Are we done fighting? Let's hurry it up, boys. Come on. Alrighty. So now we have custom battle mode was slightly improved. So the select the map feature now includes all maps. Siege machine slots are selected by default for faster starts. And wall options for sieges now say solid, single breached, and dual breached instead of the previous 150 and 0. So I think this is very good. Sorry, the battle just ended. Let's get out of this screen. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. But yeah, so the custom battle mode was improved, and there was also some minor text and bug fixes. Now we have the troop equipment. This is actually a crazy one. I should have put huge alert on it, but it's not like a game-changing one, but I think it's very cool and unique. So troop equipment is now shown in the encyclopedia. So if we click the encyclopedia, which is the key N, and we go to home, we go to troops, any troop you pick now, it will have pretty much on the side, like the top sides, right? It will have icons for their armor. And if you mouse over it, you can see exactly what they have, like what item they have, how much damage it does, and all of that. And I think that is great. Like if you want to make a specific army, if you want to, you know, find the best, what do you call it? The best unit by the armor they have and the attack they have and all of that, and you want to calculate all that and do all that, I think this is very cool. It's a very cool improvement in my opinion. But yeah, every single one has it. Anybody would really click. Very cool. Now we have a new sound effect is played whenever you start a battle or a raid. You might have seen it when we started that battle. It's kind of minor, but it's a cool little sound effect. Let's see if we can get it again. Let's see if you can hear it. Never mind, I guess there are some bugs because you can't hear it right now, which is unfortunate. But yeah, usually in battles and raids there is like a little sound effect. I can't really explain it, but there is one. Let's quickly win this and we'll move on to the next subject. There we go. Also, I'm not going to mention this and that, but as you can see, the screens, they go by a lot faster now. You know, it's a lot faster loading. For everything. Well, actually, I am going to go over that. But as you can see right here from the example, it's a lot faster. Like, everything's a lot faster. Getting into conversations, loading up your party, loading up your inventory. I think it's gotten a lot better. Now, we have UI, scoreboards, and notifications are optimized and look a lot better in my opinion. As you can see right now by my screen, these bottom menus right here, they have... they do look better. They do look crispier, a little bit better edges, and also they are smaller than before. So I think overall good changes. Now we have missing perk icons are added for one-handed, polearm, and leadership skill. Let's go back to my character. These that were previously not there are added now. I'm trying to find what they used to look like before. I'm pretty sure trade has one. Or... they used to look like this with this lock screen on it, right? For pretty much all these perks. Not all of them, but most of them. And they pretty much overhauled and gave us new perk icons for all of these ones that I'm showing right now, which are the one-handed, polearm, and leadership skills. Now, the culture of a settlement can now be seen in the encyclopedia. So if we go to encyclopedia, go over here, we go to settlements. Let's go over there. We see the culture right here is the empire, and that's pretty much where it's going to be listed for all of the cultures. It's a cool little feature. Obviously, they're trying to make the culture aspect a little bit more prevalent in the game. Always good to see. Now we have Thamaskeen Steel. Probably said it wrong. The image has been improved in the smithy. So let's go to a town and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. It's not a crazy improvement, but I think it's a pretty good improvement in my, what's it called? In my eyes. And we had a little stutter right there. Happens, it happens. Okay, so we go enter smithy. Right here, if you look at Thamaskeen Steel, as you can see, before it used to be kind of this type of shade, right? It used to be kind of like a smooth, what would you call it? Smooth, grayish slash silverish color, but now it has like these little lines and stuff through it. So it's a little minor improvement. You know, it's nothing crazy, but it's a little minor improvement. Now, we also have some text and visual placement bugs were fixed as well. Now, let's move on to the battle and siege changes. There are a few, but they are big in my opinion. Quite big. So first, an auto-blocking option is added to the single player. It can be changed in the gameplay tab in the control block direction slider. Let me show you how to do that. We're going to go to escape menu, options. We're going to go to gameplay. Right over here, control block direction. We have an auto right here. This will automatically block whatever direction it needs to block whenever you just hold the block button if it's on auto. Now, we also have, for bandit hideouts, we got a mini overhaul. So players can now have two options when attacking. You can attack and the highest level troops will join you in the fight, or you can choose who comes with you. Also, bandit numbers have been balanced, and bandits that don't fight at the end, don't fight pretty much in the end, whenever you can choose either a duel or everyone fights. The ones that don't fight because you choose duel can now also be taken as prisoners. They don't run away like they used to. So I made a video suggesting the last change of pretty much, you know, buffing the duels, and it's exactly what they did, so I think that's great. Now I'm going to go find a hideout. Where's the closest one? So I can show you guys exactly what I mean. Closest one over here. Okay, it's pretty close. I'm not going to skip over it. I already got a lot of editing to do. It's going to be a pretty long video, but I'm very excited for all these changes. And yeah, we're going to see how good the game plays, see how people like it. And also, one thing I did notice is they don't really show how much troops are in a hideout now. I think this might be a bug, but we'll see if this was intended or not. Hopefully they do fix this in a hotfix or something like that, but this does seem like a bug. Like, troops are not shown even when I hold left alt, which is supposed to show more info. So we're going to go here. We're going to wait for Nightfall to attack. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. As you can see, you can either attack, which will choose your... Sorry, I just took a drink. So you can either choose attack, which will choose your pretty much best units, highest level, or you can choose manage troops. Now you're going to have this... pretty much this bar up here. Once this bar is full, you can't add any more troops. Or can you? Well, no, you can't, because sorry, because it does say out of 10, so it has to be out of 10, right? So you can choose whoever you want to choose. What I usually choose is I want to have all my companions with me, because obviously they can't really die. They'll only pass out, and archers are always good to have. So now that's my army. And you can choose whatever you want to choose. Press done, and now you can attack as usual. Now, third, mercenaries cannot create armies now. It was a bug. Some mercenaries can, but now you cannot do it. You have to be a vassal to create an army, or a ruler, right? Now, let's move on to the character development system. First, huge change alert. First, we got a new XP sharing system where after a battle, a portion of upgrade XP earned by troops is distributed to the rest of the party. I think this is a smart change, because sometimes if you have high level archers, they're going to take all the XP before the infantry can get to it, or if you have cavalry, the same thing happens, you know. Some units level up tremendously because they get most of the kills, and some units don't level up at all. So I think it's a good fix in my opinion, and it's going to gradually grow your whole army over time. Now we have main characters levels now depend on raw experience, so it'll be easier to focus on certain skills. So if we go up here, the characters, as you can see, total skill points, next level at this, and pretty much you can see right here, this is its Roxby now instead of what it was before. Now we have some perk main and secondary calculations were fixed. They didn't really specify which ones, but if they were fixed, that's good to hear. Skill effects now affect your companions. This is a huge change in my opinion. I should have put huge change alert, but before they didn't affect companions, but now they do. Now they also added 10 new athletic perks and 7 new riding perks. So pretty much like they gave you more choices over here, and they kind of overhauled it in a way. So some of these only had one choice. Now they have 2 choices. They have their secondary effects and all of that. And for riding, you can re-choose your skills. And I'm pretty sure for athletics as well. Now, 4 perks were fixed and work as intended now. We have the two-handed confidence perk. If we go over here, pretty sure it is somewhere over here. Confidence increases your damage with two-handed weapons by 15% when your hit points are above 90%. 90% when your hit points are above 90%. Military projects, barracks, training fields, battlements, workshops, etc. are built 30% faster. Then we have the leadership public talker perk. So we go leadership. It's right over here. 10% more effective forum, marketplace, arena, temple, and festival effects. Then we have the trade, wholesaler, and appraiser perk. Is these 2 right here. The only thing that was really changed is your profits are now going to be marked for either one that you pick. Before, the top perk worked, which is the 5% decreased trade penalty for whichever trade goods or equipment that you chose. But your profits did not get marked properly, but now they do. Now, let's move on to clan and party. So first, we have a huge change alert. Clans will now have a certain number of party members based on their clan tier. I think this is huge. So, at least 1 combatant for tiers 1 and 2, 2 combatants for tiers 3 and 4, and 3 for tiers 5 and 6. So now, if you recruit... You're not going to see pretty much a tier 5 clan with only 1 guy or even 2 guys, right? They're going to have 3 if they're tier 5 or above, right? They're going to have 2 if they're tier 3 and 4. I think this is very huge because a big problem was there was some very, very good clans that you can get, and there's some, you know, very bad clans that you can get. They could be tier 5. They're going to expect you to give... They want like $500,000, right, just to join. And then they only have 1 guy that can be really used for a party, right? So I think this is a very, very good change. And I think it's going to balance out clans more. And I think it's going to change the game in a big aspect, right? Because, you know, those tier 5 clans that only have 1 guy will now have 3 or more, which is going to change how much battles are fought and things of that nature. Also, you can now name both children if you have twins. This was a bug. It's fixed now. It's small, but hey, if you want to roleplay something like that, I feel like, you know, it's good that you can name both children and one just doesn't have a name that would, you know, kind of ruin immersion. Now, parties that fled from a battle would now run away from the player when back on the campaign map. So whenever you win a battle, right, the people who fled, usually they'll just be on the map, but then you can just catch up to them right away. Now they're going to instantly run away from you after the battle, which kind of makes sense. Now, if you marry a hero, or like if your spouse has a party, when you marry her, the party will disband if she does have one. It used to be a neutral party, so it's kind of buggy and kind of weird like that. But now they will disband the party and she will join your party. Now, players can create players cannot create companion parties if the companion is fleeing after escaping captivity. So now you have to kind of wait a little bit. So if one of your companions gets captured, and then you see this person has escaped, now you have to wait before you say, hey, start a new party. You have to wait a little bit because obviously they're fleeing from their captor first. Now we have cultural home settlements will now be better assigned at the start of the game, and the whole cultural algorithm has been improved. Like I said it before, it looks like they're trying to kind of fix and improve the culture system. It's always good to see. I like when games have various aspects that, you know, they depend on, and I think the culture aspect is not really that huge in the game, but hopefully they keep working on it and making it, like, you know, as big as like the kingdom and diplomacy kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like make it a like a viable thing to focus on. Now kids will now get their skills and levels like intended. So now you won't have kids that have like very, very low amount of skills, or kids that have excessively high skills. That's pretty much been fixed. It's going to be normalized, it's going to be balanced, and good to see. Also, there's a lot of multiple minor fixes and changes. Now let's move on to the kingdom, diplomacy, and economic changes. So minor adjustments to war and peace evaluations, payment-wise, how much you pay or how much the other person pays you. Now we have huge change alert, another huge one. And this was talked about in yesterday's video because the devs have stated this is something they are working on. So now it is harder for lords to defect. Even with no settlements, lords will not defect if they have a good amount of money. So the more successful your new clan is, the better chance that they will stay. What I suggest you do now, if a clan joins, right, add them to your army and win a lot of fights. Give them a lot of victories and do all of that, right? Because if they have a lot of money, they don't have to leave because obviously they're successful, which makes sense. It really does. Now the player also receives reputation with the new clan. I think this is also huge when they do join, and the clan loses reputation with the previous king. So now you're going to gain reputation, so they're going to like you more, and they're going to lose reputation with the previous king, which makes it harder for them to join back to the previous king. So I think these are all good changes, and hopefully they work as intended. Now, succession of the king of the kingdom for the player is now fixed and enabled. So once your main character gets executed, you can play as your kids or spouse. This was a little bit buggy and a crash and all that, but now it is fixed. Now, another huge change alert. Sturgeon's strength was buffed overall to make them on par with the other kingdoms. Finally. Well, boys are getting some love, you know. It's great to see. Next we need is the Azurai because they're also kind of lacking. But it's very good to see that the Sturgeons are getting some buffs to their strength. Now, also, lords will probably be captured if a settlement if they are in a settlement and that settlement gets taken, they are going to be captured as well. Now, they reduce the duration of the no attack / safe passage barter. This is pretty much when you run into a big army and pay them off to not attack you, right? You talk them in and be like, hey, I'll pay you if you just look the other way and let me go. They pretty much let you go, and you cannot attack their settlements for a certain amount of time. So that certain amount of time has been reduced. Now, another huge change alert. Very huge in my opinion. And a lot of people have been talking about this as well. So King's chances of being on the voting ballot for a newly captured settlement is reduced, and players' participation is now included more. So effectively, you're going to get more. Fiefs are going to be pretty much, you know, settlements and fiefs are going to be pretty much, what would you call it? They're going to be given to the player more and also to the other AI clans. So it won't just be the king having most of them. Now we have town project bonus descriptions will now show the correct amount. It used to be bugged and showed different amounts, but now they show the right amount that you get as a bonus. Also, multiple minor fixes and changes. Now, let's move on to quests. So there's a lot of changes to current quests and some new quests. It's going to be on the screen if you want to pause it, but I'm not going to go too in-depth with the quests. Again, if you want to pause it and check what they are, there's a lot of changes. So the new quest called Landlord Needs Manual Laborers has been added. And also a huge change alert, we have a new main quest added called Rescue Your Family that includes your brother. So he finally comes back because I don't know where that guy went, but he finally came back. And if you load a previous save, he will most likely show up right away and start talking to you, and that pretty much will start the mission. Now, let's move on to troop updates and fixes. Again, there's a lot, so I'm going to just read it out one by one, and it's going to be on the screen, and you guys take it how you will take it. So, pretty much faction troops now use a greater variety of weaponry. Okay. Mercenary Cavalry units now use spears. Mercenary units now possess proper skill points that are in the correct unit groups. This was a big one. They sometimes didn't have the right skills, like a crossbowman for some reason wouldn't have sometimes would have 0 crossbow, which is super weird, but now they possess the right skills to do their do their job effectively. Mercenary Guard and Mercenary Cavalry have slightly better weaponry. Okay. Sturgian Brigand, Hardened Brigand, and Horse Rider units now also have spears. Oh my god. Yo, those Sturgian Brigands, the guys with the javelins on the horses, I'm telling you, stop sleeping on them. They are one of the best units in the game. And now they also have spears. Jesus Christ. That's what I'm talking about, man. Sturgians are really getting what, what they deserve. Now, basic level 6 units of faction units now have the chance to carry and use tier 2 weapons. Okay. So they're going to be a little bit better now. Okay. So now we have Battalion Oathsworn now uses javelins. Jesus Christ. We need less javelin users, but it's okay. We're going to see how that goes. Battalion Scouts changed their horses to Battalion 1s. Azurai Mameluke Regular and Azurai Youth now count as cavalry units. That's good. Mameluke Heavy Cavalry now use a different bow. Okay. The Azurai Tribal Horsemen now use javelins. Oh, Jesus. The Khazay Turguds now carry swords in addition to original weaponry. Okay. The Khazay Darkhan units carry better javelins. Oh, man. There's going to be a lot of sniping in this game. Khan's guards now carry one-handed masons. Okay. Khazay Spear Infantry now use throwable spears. Levy Crossbowmen now counts as a ranged unit, as they should. Okay, some changes I agree on. Some changes, we'll see how they play. But those are pretty much all the changes for the troop updates. Take them how you will. Now let's move on to modding tools. So we have received some modding tools, not the full modding tools, since the devs say they are still working on them. But here's what was added. So the editor UX cleanup was added for modding tools. The asset override systems were also added for modding tools. Modding support for sound systems was also added, and the internal refactoring and code cleanup, obviously, that they have been working on. Lastly, we have a lot of bug fixes and changes. Like I said, I linked the patch notes if you want to read all of them, but they are minor. They do fix minor things in the game, like how you play the board games and other crash fixes and bug fixes. But yeah, if I list all of them, this video is going to be way too long in my opinion. But if you want to go read them, like I said, the patch notes are all listed there if you want to go even more in depth. Now let's move on to multiplayer. So I don't play multiplayer, so I'm just going to list them out and put it on the screen as well. But yeah, let's go from there. So there's better barriers for to the team deathmatch map. The Volge chain attack speed is reduced. The Vladian Knight axe one-handed use was fixed. The two-handed weapons can now crush through a block on an overswing attacks. This is also in single player as well. I forgot to add it. Crush throughs are more likely to happen with two-handed maces. Crush throughs with couch lances don't happen in multiplayer. Siege servers now stop accepting players after a morale threshold. Also fix changing stats of players when the game ends while they're loading. This happened rarely on Siege servers. Now, Matchmaker now balances teams after arranging a match. Factions and maps are now distributed uniformly between game types instead of globally. You can now leave multiplayer games without punishment if you haven't spawned during the game. They fixed an issue causing starting gold not to be 120 when joining the spectator team before a combatant team. Also, there's multiple bugs and crash fixes. And so yeah, that's pretty much all the changes that we have gotten for the beta 1.4.3 and the 1.4.2 live. I'm really excited to play. There are some good changes in my opinion, very good changes, and changes that people have wanted. So hopefully people are happy. Hopefully people enjoy the new version of the game. Lastly, I am going to end this video in the same way that I end most of my update and dev talk videos. I want to thank the developers for staying active. It's been a rough month. There's been a lot of negativity, but we got through it. We got some very good changes. I'm happy with it. Hopefully other people are happy with it. They said the next patch is going to be bigger, so I'm even more excited. So yeah, keep the changes coming. Keep working. I appreciate all the hard work the devs are putting in. It is what it is. And yeah. Hopefully this video was informative. Ask me any questions, and like always, stay safe.